Namaskar. The last rites of senior BJP leader and former External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj were performed with state honours at the Lodi Crematorium in New Delhi this evening. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, several union ministers including Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh and Prakash Javadekar, the BJP veteran L.K. Advani and other leaders cutting across party lines were present to bid her farewell. The Prime Minister described her passing as the end of a grand chapter in Indian politics. We focus on the legacy of Sushma Swaraj tonight. This is Newsnight. Here are the headlines. The mortal remains of senior BJP leader Sushma Swaraj consigned to flames with full state honours at Lodi Road Crematorium in Delhi. Prime Minister Modi, BJP President Amit Shah and other senior leaders present on the solemn occasion. Lakhs of people paid tearful tributes to Sushma Swaraj at BJP headquarters and her residence. President, Vice President and Prime Minister among leaders who visited her home and condoled with the family. Rajya Sabha pays tribute to the former External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. Chairman Venkaiah Naidu says it is a great loss. He will miss her, especially this year on Rakhi. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla says the country has lost an ambassador of Indian culture and a great orator. Leaders and ordinary people from across the world pay tribute to Sushma Swaraj. Heads of state and government, foreign ministers, ambassadors remember her as a skilled politician. Parliament approves a bill to increase the number of judges in the Supreme Court from 30 to 33. The Rajya Sabha passes the bill before being adjourned sine die. The chairman says that the House has performed its best in the last 17 years. The situation in Jammu and Kashmir is normal a day after the abolition of Article 370 and 35A. National Security Advisor meets local people, ascertains their views, also reviews the meeting with the security forces. The RBI cuts repo rate by 35 basis points. The repo rate is reduced from 5.75 to 5.40%. The reverse repo rate is reduced to 5.15%. Interest rates are likely to be cut. Flood-like situation after heavy rains in Kolhapur, Western Maharashtra. More than 51,000 people are affected. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis directs officials to provide all possible assistance. Rivers in Odisha and Karnataka too are overflowing. Our top story, hundreds of people, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah and veteran party leader L.K. Advani bid farewell to former External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj as her mortal remains were consigned to flames at the Lodi Road Crematorium on Wednesday. Sushma Swaraj, who also served as the leader of the opposition and Chief Minister of Delhi, was given full state honours, after which her body was cremated in the electric crematorium. Bhutan's former Prime Minister Sherik Torbeh was there, and several leaders of the NDA as well as the opposition leaders were present.
As Sushma Swaraj, known for her traditional sari and red bindi and an outspoken advocate of India's culture and grace, left on her last journey, people in large numbers congregated to bid adieu to a person they held in the highest esteem. There was a non-stop stream of well-wishers who came to pay their last respects at her residence, then at the BJP headquarters and even at the electric crematorium in Lodi Road. Sushma Swaraj, who held several key posts during her long political career both in government and the opposition, was given a funeral with full state honours. Thousands assembled at Lodhi Road Crematorium. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah, Senior Party Leader Lal Krishna Advani, and a host of party leaders and dignitaries paid their last respects at the crematorium. All of them had moist eyes. Prime Minister Modi was seen giving a helping hand to Senior Party Leader L.K. Advani. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, BJP Working President J.P. Nadda and many union ministers and senior BJP leaders were present to bid farewell to their colleague and mentor. Several NDA as well as opposition leaders and dignitaries including former Bhutanese Prime Minister Shering Tobgay were present at the ceremony of the last rites. After her demise on Tuesday, the mortal remains were kept at her residence in Jantar Mantar for people to pay their last respects. Well-wishers came through the night to pay their last respects. President Ramnath Kovind paid his last respects and consoled the family, as did Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu. Prime Minister Narendra Modi turned emotional as he visited the home of former External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. After paying his respects, Prime Minister expressed his condolences to her daughter Bansuri Swaraj. While talking to Sushma Swaraj's husband Swaraj Kaushal, an emotional Prime Minister was seen holding back his tears. On Tuesday, after Sushma Swaraj's demise, Prime Minister in a series of tweets mentioned the personal loss that her passing was to him. He tweeted that she will be remembered fondly for everything that she's done for India. BJP Working President J.P. Nadda also offered his last respects to the departed soul. Leaders cutting across party lines expressed shock at the sudden demise of the former External Affairs Minister. Among them were Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Samajwadi Party veteran Mulayam Singh Yadav, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and senior AAP leader Manish Sisodia also offered their last respects. They remembered her exceptional oratory skills as a distinguished parliamentarian. Derek O'Brien of Trinamool Congress, Yoga Guru Baba Ramdev, BJP leader Hema Malini, former Chief Minister of Kerala Oman Chandy and Nobel laureate Kailash Satyarthi also paid tributes to Sushma Swaraj. BJP workers and mourners on Wednesday had gathered in large number at the party headquarters to pay their last respects as the mortal remains were brought to the party office from her residence in Jantar Mantar. Some cried inconsolably and others fought back their tears as top party leaders including BJP President Amit Shah and Working President J.P. Nadda covered Swaraj's body with the national flag and paid their tributes. Her daughter Bansuri stood there and acknowledged condolences from the people and leaders who had gathered there in large number. UP CM Yogi Adityanath also offered his last respects at the BJP office. Afterwards, the mortal remains were taken for cremation in a hearse to the Lodhi Road Crematorium and consigned to flames. It was the end of one of the most glorious chapters in Indian politics. With inputs from Sudhakar, Nitendra, Shailendra, Rajesh Raj, Anuj Yadav, Sudhir, Neeraj and Meghna. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Well, leaders cutting across party lines expressed shock at the demise of the former External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi described her as a remarkable leader who devoted her life to public service and the poor.
Describing former External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj as an epitome of grace and grit, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said that in her untimely demise, the nation has lost an able administrator, an effective parliamentarian and a true voice of the people. The upper house paid glowing tributes to the senior BJP leader. Naidu further said that Sushma Swaraj was a regular at family and cultural events at his residence for a long time, and every year she used to tie a rakhi on the occasion of Raksha Bandhan. He added that he would be missing the honour this year. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said that Sushma Swaraj, despite being a politician, kept human sensibilities paramount. He added that the shining sun of India's political horizon has set in the form of Sushma Swaraj.
दुनिया भर में भारतीय संस्कृति की प्रखर राजदूत श्री सुषमा जी थी, जिन्होंने भारतीय संस्कृति और भारत का पक्ष प्रखर रूप से विश्व के हर देशों के अंदर रखा.
Home Minister Amit Shah said that Sushma Swaraj left an indelible mark in the national politics. Describing her as a simple and rare politician, Shah said that she was a strong voice of the BJP when it was in the opposition and left an indelible mark as a minister.
सुषमा जी का असमय चले जाना न केवल भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए, देश भर की राजनीति के लिए बहुत बड़ी क्षति है.
Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Prakash Javadekar also expressed deep grief and shock over the demise of former External Affairs Minister.
उन्होंने जो मानवीय व्यवहार सबके साथ किया, एक संवेदनशील व्यक्तित्व का परिचय दिया और पार्टी के हर काल में वो साथ रही, खड़ी रही और अपने ओजस्वी वाणी से देश भर में उन्होंने पार्टी का प्रचार किया। हम उनको भावभीनी श्रद्धांजलि देते हैं।
BJP leader and former Union Minister Arun Jaitley tweeted and said, "Saddened, pained and broken on the demise of Sushma ji. She was one of the most outstanding politicians in the present era. She distinguished in all positions. She held senior positions with the party, NDA government, and while in opposition, she leaves behind a void which is difficult to fill." Leaders from across the political spectrum expressed shock and grief at the untimely demise.
उनके निधन को सुनकर मुझे व्यक्तिगत तौर पर हमारी पार्टी को बड़ा दुख है।
सुषमा जी के निधन पर बहुत ही अफसोस। और सुषमा जी वन ऑफ द बेस्ट पार्लियामेंटेरियन थी, सदन के अंदर भी और सदन के बाहर भी उनको हमेशा याद किया जाएगा।
उनके मन में किसी पर कोई कभी विद्वेष नहीं रहा। दलगत राजनीति से ऊपर उठकर भी उन्होंने अगर देखा किसी के साथ अन्याय हो रहा है या कोई ज्यादती हो रही तो उन्होंने काम किया।
बोलने की जो उनकी कला थी, लोगों की बात सदन में रखने की, उसकी बराबरी ना ही कोई कर सकेगा और वो आवाज हमेशा के लिए बंद हो गई है।
Prasar Bharati chairman Dr. A. Surya Prakash also expressed condolences at the demise of former External Affairs Minister.
She was a great Democrat who endeared herself to the people, who could connect with the last man. She was the ideal public representative. How should a public representative conduct himself or herself in a democracy? More so a democracy like India, where there are still millions and millions below poverty line and so on. There was a lot to learn from her.
Geeta, the hearing and speech impaired woman who returned to India from Pakistan in 2015 following extensive efforts by Sushma Swaraj, said that she has lost a guardian and a motherly figure in death of former External Affairs Minister. A tearful Geeta, through sign language, said Swaraj used to be concerned about her well-being like a mother. Sushma Swaraj was always at forefront to help people of Indian origin wherever and whenever required. Many of them are now remembering the immense contribution by the departed leader in ensuring their well-being.
सुषमा सर बहुत मेरे को हेल्प करे मैडम। मैं रात में सुनको बहुत मैं परेशान हो गई, बहुत हेल्प करे मेरे।
Sushma Swaraj's inherent nature was such that everyone felt at ease and could easily relate to her in all circumstances. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Well, the Prime Minister had said that a glorious chapter in Indian politics has come to an end. India grieves the demise of a remarkable leader who devoted her life to public service and the bettering of the lives of the poor. Sushma Swaraj ji was one of a kind, who was a source of inspiration for crores of people. That's what the Prime Minister said, unquote. Similar praise came in from world leaders. Here's more on this report.
There's an atmosphere of grief not just in India but worldwide after the untimely demise of former External Affairs Minister and senior BJP leader Sushma Swaraj. Condolence messages have been pouring in from the presidents of other countries and leaders. United Nations General Assembly President hailed Sushma Swaraj as an extraordinary woman and leader. In a tweet, the UNGA President said, I quote, "Saddened by the news of the passing of Sushma Swaraj, an extraordinary woman and leader who devoted her life to public service. I had the honor of meeting her in my visits to India and will always remember her fondly. My deepest condolences to all of her loved ones." Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli expressed grief over the charismatic leader's demise. He said, I quote,
"Deeply shocked to learn of the passing away of Sushma Swaraj. Heartfelt condolences and deepest sympathies to the government and people of India, as well as to the bereaved family members."
Nepal's Minister for Foreign Affairs has said that untimely demise of former External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj is a huge loss for India and Nepal.
Understanding to rapidly implement the previous agreements was done, and we were able to explore the new areas of the cooperation like inland waterways, cooperation in agriculture and many more.
The Foreign Minister of Maldives, Abdullah Shahid, tweeted, I quote,
Deeply grieved to hear the demise of my good friend Sushma Swaraj, stateswoman extraordinaire, diplomat par excellence, a warm human being, key architect of renewed Maldives-India friendship. Sincere condolences to the bereaved family and people of India. May she rest in peace.
Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina paid tributes to Swaraj and extended sympathy to her family. She said, I quote, she was a good friend of Bangladesh. With her death, Bangladesh has lost a good friend. Bangladesh will recall her contributions in taking the relationship between the two countries to a new height. Former Afghan President Hamid Karzai also tweeted his condolences. I quote,
Deeply saddened to hear of the loss of Behenji Sushma Swaraj, a tall leader and a great orator and people's person. My profound condolences to the people of India and her family and friends.
The ambassador of France to India also tweeted, I quote,
My heartfelt condolences to the family and loved ones of former External Affairs Minister of India Sushma Swaraj ji, one of India's most respected leaders. She showed remarkable dedication to serving her fellow citizens and took the Indo-French relationship to new heights.
Israel's ambassador to India, Ron Malka, termed the death of Swaraj a great loss and then said that she was a great friend of his country. Malka added that the late leader played a big role in the remarkable progress of India-Israel relationship.
Sushma is a big loss for India and for Israel. Sushma was a brave leader. She was a great friend of Israel, and we are so sad today. And so I want just to send my condolences and on behalf of Israel, the state of Israel, the people of Israel that love her so much.
Vietnam's ambassador to India also conveyed the heartfelt condolences on the demise of Sushma Swaraj and said that his country was grateful for her contribution to India-Vietnam relations.
The government and people of Vietnam would like to convey our heartfelt condolences to the people, government of India and the BJP party for the great loss of Madam former Union Foreign Minister. We are grateful for her great contribution to strengthening the relationship between Vietnam and India.
Bhutan's Foreign Minister Dr. Tandi Dorji and Afghan Foreign Minister Salahuddin Rabbani expressed condolences on the demise of Sushma Swaraj. Condolence messages coming in from across the world tell how tall and beloved a leader was Sushma Swaraj. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And Sushma Swaraj held the position of External Affairs Minister from 2014 to 2019. Under her leadership, the External Affairs Ministry introduced new initiatives, including the Act East policy, passport infrastructure expansion, and leveraging digital diplomacy and engagement. India's foreign policy acquired a new direction under her tenure, and she led the way in establishing new methods for global foreign policy engagement in the 21st century.
Sarve bhavantu sukhina, सर्वे संतु निरामयः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, माँ कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्, जिसका अर्थ है सभी सुखी हों, सभी स्वस्थ हों, सभी अपने इर्द गिर्द अच्छा ही अच्छा देखें, कोई भी दुखी ना हो, कोई भी दुखी ना हो, कोई भी दुखी ना हो. धन्यवाद.
These words of Sushma Swaraj echoed across the United Nations General Assembly. As External Affairs Minister in the first Modi cabinet, she communicated India's message of universal brotherhood to the world. Mrs. Swaraj was the second woman after former Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi to become External Affairs Minister and the first to hold the ministry as an independent charge. She played a key role in implementation of India's foreign policy, giving a new direction through multilateral and bilateral engagements. Mrs. Swaraj set India's interests first at all fora, even calling out Pakistan at the UN General Assembly for fostering terrorism.
हमने IITs बनाए, Indian Institute of Technology. हमने IIMs बनाए, Indian Institute of Management. हमने AIMS जैसे अस्पताल बनाए, All India Institute of Medical Sciences. हमने अंतरिक्ष के क्षेत्र में विश्व प्रसिद्ध संस्थान बनाए. पर पाकिस्तान वालों, आपने क्या बनाया? आपने लश्कर-ए-तैयबा बनाया, आपने जैश-ए-मोहम्मद बनाया, आपने हक्कानी नेटवर्क बनाया, आपने हिजबुल मुजाहिदीन बनाया, आपने आतंकवादी ठिकाने बनाए, आपने टेररिस्ट कैंप्स बनाए. सभापति जी, हमने स्कॉलर्स पैदा किए, हमने साइंटिस्ट पैदा किए, हमने इंजीनियर्स पैदा किए, हमने डॉक्टर्स पैदा किए। पाकिस्तान वालों, आपने क्या पैदा किया? आपने दहशतगर्द पैदा किए, आपने जिहादी पैदा किए।
Under Sushma Swaraj, the Look East policy became the Act East policy, with a fresh impetus to engagement with ASEAN nations and East Asia. Her first multilateral engagement as minister came at the ASEAN Regional Forum and the East Asia Summit Foreign Ministers meeting, highlighting this aspect. She was able to strengthen relations with India's allies and build new relationships, expanding the nation's sphere of influence globally. Her greatest legacy lies in using social media to connect with the masses. Mrs. Swaraj used Twitter and other platforms to reach out to the Indian diaspora and resolve their problems. From helping Neha Parikh's senior citizen parents get emergency travel documents in Turkey after losing their passports, to helping Geeta find her parents, Mrs. Swaraj's new form of digital diplomacy took the world by storm. Thousands of requests from Indians across the world poured in, and the External Affairs Ministry under Mrs. Swaraj responded to them all. She also reached out to people from other nations visiting India. In 2017, Mrs. Swaraj reached out to the family of a 7-year-old Pakistani girl after they had requested to travel to India for the girl's open heart surgery. She earned worldwide praise and acclaim when she tweeted that a medical visa would be granted to the girl. Mrs. Swaraj's tenure as External Affairs Minister had a global impact in putting human concerns first. She became a global leader with her interventions through digital diplomacy and lived up to the Indian mantra of happiness for all and universal brotherhood.
सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिः भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मंगलम भवतु। इसका अर्थ है सबका शुभ हो, सबको शांति मिले, सबको पूर्णता प्राप्त हो, सबका मंगल हो, सबका ही कल्याण हो। विश्व कल्याण की इसी कामना के साथ मैं अपनी बात को समाप्त करती हूँ। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
And the diplomatic community in Delhi also joined the nation in sorrow over the sad demise of the great woman in Indian politics. Let's take a look at the life of Sushma Swaraj and her influence on Indian politics.
वकालत करते हैं। हम सांप्रदायिक हैं क्योंकि हम राष्ट्रीय ध्वज के सम्मान के लिए लड़ते हैं। हम सांप्रदायिक हैं क्योंकि हम धारा 370 को समाप्त करने की मांग करते हैं। मैं सुषमा स्वराज ईश्वर की शपथ लेती हूँ। आतंकवादी ठिकाने बनाए, आपने टेररिस्ट कैंप्स बनाए, हमने डॉक्टर्स पैदा किए। पाकिस्तान वालों, आपने क्या पैदा किया? आपने दहशतगर्द पैदा किए, आपने जिहादी पैदा किए।
Mrs. Sushma Swaraj's political journey was as a popular leader and a captivating speaker. She was the second woman after former Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi to become the External Affairs Minister of the nation. Born in Ambala Cantonment on 14 February 1952, Mrs. Swaraj's father, Hardev Sharma, was an important member of the RSS. Her father and mother had links with Dharampura region in Lahore in today's Pakistan. She received her education in Sanskrit and political science at the Sanatan Dharm College in Ambala Cantonment. After her education, she studied law at the Punjab University in Chandigarh. She began her political career with the ABVP in 1970. Her husband Swaraj Kaushal was connected with the socialist leader George Fernandez, and Mrs. Swaraj became part of his legal defense team in 1975. In 1973, she started a legal practice in the Supreme Court, and she also enthusiastically participated in the GP movement. After the emergency, she joined the Jan Sangh and ascended gradually through the ranks. In July 1977, she became a cabinet minister in the Janata Party-led government of Devi Lal in Haryana. She was merely 25 at the time and the youngest member of the Vidhan Sabha. She also became the state party president of the Janata Party in Haryana at the age of 27. In April 1990, she entered national politics and became a member of the Rajya Sabha. She was elected as a member of the Lok Sabha for the first time in 1996 from South Delhi. She became the Information and Broadcasting Minister in the 13-day Vajpayee government in 1996 as well. In October 1998, she resigned from the central government to become the first woman Chief Minister of Delhi. BJP was unable to win the Vidhan Sabha elections in Delhi and Mrs. Swaraj re-entered national politics. In 1999, Mrs. Swaraj contested against Congress National President Sonia Gandhi from the Bellary parliamentary seat in Karnataka. She campaigned in Kannada and was able to garner more than 3.5 lakh votes in just 12 days of campaigning. She lost to Sonia Gandhi by a margin of just 7%. She assumed the charge of External Affairs Minister during the first Narendra Modi government and was instrumental in implementing India's new foreign policy. Mrs. Swaraj addressed the UN General Assembly on 2 occasions and was praised for forcefully calling out Pakistan in her address on an international forum. She was elected Member of Parliament 7 times and Member of Legislative Assembly 3 times. She is fondly remembered by her colleagues and political opponents alike. Her political career and tenures as minister in various governments leaves an indelible mark on India's political landscape. DD News.
And adhering to party discipline, Sushma Swaraj also took up the reins of the leadership as Delhi Chief Minister, and she served as the Chief Minister for just 53 days. But she left her mark on the politics of Delhi, twice representing Delhi in Parliament as well.
Mrs. Sushma Swaraj had the honor of being Delhi's first woman Chief Minister. Her political journey started from Ambala in Haryana, but she developed a close relationship with Delhi. Before becoming Delhi's Chief Minister, she was elected as Member of Parliament twice from South Delhi and became a minister in the Vajpayee government. Despite her other political engagements outside Delhi, she maintained a close relationship with the Delhi BJP workers and the people. Mrs. Swaraj entered Parliament for the first time from Delhi when she defeated Kapil Sibal in the parliamentary elections and became the Information and Broadcasting Minister in 13-day Vajpayee government. In the Lok Sabha elections in March 1998, the BJP fielded her again from South Delhi. She defeated the Congress candidate for a second time and was again appointed Information and Broadcasting Minister. She was also given additional charge of the Telecom Ministry. But she was made the Delhi Chief Minister in the same year on 13th October.
अपने कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक और शुद्ध अंतःकरण से निर्वहन करूंगी। सभी प्रकार के लोगों के प्रति संविधान और विधि के अनुसार न्याय करूंगी।
The BJP decided to contest the Delhi Vidhan Sabha elections under her leadership but was unable to form the government. After BJP's defeat in the Vidhan Sabha elections, she resigned from the post of Chief Minister on 3rd December 1998. She again returned to politics at the centre after remaining as Chief Minister of Delhi for 53 days. Though she no longer remained in electoral politics in Delhi, her emotional connect with workers and the people of Delhi continued. She continued to campaign for BJP candidates and workers continued to consult her on the party's strategy. DD News.
So, in focus tonight, Sushma Swaraj, a minister with a human touch. Sushma Swaraj, a minister with a human touch, and Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist, joins us in the studio to throw light on that. We've seen numerous stories telling us about the contribution that she made to Indian politics. Where would we begin in our discussion? Shall we start by recalling her oratory skills, because
traditional sari
people remember how
and an
she
spoke
in Parliament, how she spoke in the UN General Assembly.
In large numbers
That
congregated
perhaps
to bid
may be one way to start.
Well, I think today, having known her for the last 30 years or more, having seen her rise from being a spokesperson of emerging BJP to finally completing 5 years as India's People's Foreign Minister.
That's right.
And whatnot. And the tributes that we have seen, and that beautiful tribute Doordarshan just now gave, documenting with those pictures of her rise and the affection she won from different sections of society. Today you can see across political spectrum there's a lot of sorrow, and there's not one person who has come in contact with her, whether it is those patients who came from the neighboring countries who wanted urgent visas for medical attention, or people like Geeta, the Hindu girl who was hearing impaired. She was there everywhere. And when it came to exposing the cause of the BJP, particularly the ideology that BJP represented, she never minced words, whether on the floor of Parliament or even in a forum like UN General Assembly, where she spoke what the government of Narendra Modi wanted and what were its objectives.
Right. So she had grit and she had grace. Well, we saw her personal touch that she brought to the External Affairs Ministry. Perhaps we can go a little further back and see, a contribution, a personal touch also to the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. She was very warm with all journalists. She treated them, she had a first name basis with most of them who dealt with that, and so she had that human touch. How important is that in understanding her character and her personality and what she achieved?
No, I think, Mark, whether she was a minister or whether she was just a spokesperson or she was just a former foreign minister, as she was after completing 5 years, she was always unassuming of the role she was playing. So you asked about when she was information minister, because she was a great communicator, and she would always make it a point to convey, way to reach out to people, whether you are conveying government policies, whether you are conveying the feelings of the people or the responses from the people to the government. She would always look at better ways of telling stories, better way of listening to stories, and she was a great listener. She would spend a lot of time listening to people's problems. And today, when you hear people saying, people who went through horrible times, whether they were their near and dear were missing, or they were waiting for the mortal remains of the close family members, she would always provide that healing touch. She would ring them up, she would talk to them, and particularly her period saw huge, massive evacuation from places like Iraq, from Yemen, and she would always make it a point that, and along with General V.K. Singh, who was a deputy, the way the whole thing was planned, how she would track everything, she would always persuade the foreign ministry officials, constantly telling them, look, yes, you have a lot of diplomatic role, but whatever role it is, you have to take care of the human part of it.
Absolutely. So helping everyone and just a tweet away. And because of those tweets, we did a story on digital diplomacy and how she transformed that. People were able to get in touch with her, and she put the state, let's say the diplomatic missions, she made them work, and they, in the sense, for the good of people who were asking for India's help, our people, our own citizens, and even other people, as we saw, Pakistanis who needed to come here, and for medical reasons, she went out of her way for that, and she was the kind of responses that have come in from people who dealt with her as foreign minister are heartwarming. They are so emotional. So that kind of, you don't get those kind of responses unless a person has made a huge impact on the world stage.
Mark, she knew how to cut the red tape where necessary. I mean, she would call up the ambassadors, she would call up the high commissioners, she would call up even the consular officials, that this is an urgent case, get the visa issued. Or if there were cases of Indians traveling abroad, having lost their passport, moment the tweet would come, she would immediately, ring up the concerned people and say, please do something for them. Or people, see, these are normal things which she always dealt it as a matter of, matter of normal business. And
it's just part of her nature.
Yeah, part of her nature. And apart from that, she understood what the Prime Minister Modi wanted on the foreign affairs side.
Correct.
She was also part of a number of initiatives that the Prime Minister Modi took. I can even count some of these initiatives which she played a big role, because it was always felt that she had, she was not playing such a big role. It was rather the Prime Minister's key aides were doing it. But that was not the story. She understood how the Prime Minister wanted things done, and she would see to it that she supplemented those efforts.
Absolutely.
She executed those plans. Where necessary, she would herself, do that extra push that is needed.
No, when there was such drive at the leadership level, I'm talking about the Prime Minister level, then obviously the follow-up has to be extremely, at the same level, at the same speed, and that was definitely they complemented each other very well. Let's also talk about, the kind of inspiration she leaves. She's an inspiration for all politicians, and in particular women who want to enter politics, because there are a large number of women who are coming into politics, and we have a few. The big icons seem to be, we seem to be losing them. So here's one who can actually, with her legacy, probably inspire a lot more people to enter politics the right way.
Meenakshi never forgot her own rise from Haryana. And Haryana, then was even more male dominated, and she cut through those prevailing psyche then. And after the emergency, when the elections were held, she became a member of the Haryana Assembly. And in the Devilal's government, when she was just 25, she was a cabinet minister. She was the first women cabinet minister of Haryana. You can imagine, in an all-male cabinet, she was just one person. And there used to be a joke that subsequently when Devilal met Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, he used to say that you be careful with this lady, because she is a very pushy lady. She gets what she wants and she'll get things done. This used to be the talk among the. So therefore, from the days of 77 and before, since she was a lawyer along with a lawyer husband, they represented George Fernandez in those cases that were foisted on him during the emergency. And since then, she was also very close association with former Prime Minister Chandrasekhar, and subsequently she joined the BJP. And once she joined the BJP, she was dedicated to its ideology, to its cause. And particularly she was spotted by Lal Krishna Advani, the BJP patriarch, who had his own contribution to make by picking up young people who were dynamic and who would create this party with a difference. So you saw Sushma working with her contemporaries like Pramod Mahajan, Arun Jaitley, Venkaiah Naidu, Rajnath Singh. So all these leaders you are seeing today who are personally grieving, because she was one of them. And from then on, mind you, she was made the spokesperson of the BJP. Those days BJP was a party that was emerging and representing one pole, as often Advani ji used to say, that the BJP has managed to make it a bipolar politics, because earlier it was domination of the Congress, and subsequent to that we saw Congress plus other parties coming under the plank of so-called protecting secularism. And BJP was on the opposite end, and you saw governments being formed with a simple plank of keeping BJP out of power. Those days she was the spokesperson. And my association with her began when I was covering the BJP, and she was a spokesperson. Now, among the qualities that I remember, she had a phenomenal memory, and she had I would call it a random access memory, where if she were to meet you once, she would remember you by first name. That's a very big quality among politicians, because when they meet so many people, she can immediately recall you by your first name. That is how she was. And she never needed a paper or anything. Once she had gone through what has to be briefed, And I think that was there till, she completed 5 years of foreign minister.
Absolutely.
She would simply, rattle off all the facts and figures that was necessary.
So you talked a little bit about, the role she's played as the spokesperson, the face in a sense of communicating with the people as the party was emerging. Now that the party has emerged, it's established itself as the dominant party of the country, she has played a significant role in bringing the party to this level. Of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is since 2014 and the Modi wave, one could say, but in the years when the party was working on coalitions and the NDA, she was playing an important role in delivering the ideological message across various platforms, and you say that she was extremely successful in doing that. Is that the case?
Yes, absolutely. She was very successful. Even, her opponents would concede that, she was very good at putting across that message. Because those days, in a parliament that was dominated by the non-BJP party,
right,
and to be a leader of the opposition, and where the BJP was, could not do much,
right,
because so we saw those situations when, right through the period when she was in the upper house or in the lower house, and finally when she was the leader of the opposition between 2009 and 14, which was,
yes,
I would say, was a most crowning period as a leader of the opposition. She would not mince words in attacking the Congress government then. And we have seen very interesting debates between the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Sushma Swaraj in the Lok Sabha.
Yes, absolutely. We remember those.
And even after all that, many Congress leaders would tell me, what a lady. She knows how to, hit us. There was a kind of a compliment.
Absolutely.
And she would always, but whatever was said in the parliament as a leader of the opposition, she never took it outside because she had the best of relations with everyone. And I can
we
recall
saw that, in fact, today when so many leaders from across party lines had come for her last rites.
Now, Mark, I want to recall one particular situation when you remember that controversy over Lalit Modi getting those travel documents,
right?
And which she had, her office had authorized because on medical grounds. The opposition attacked her, but they never sought her resignation. That was a very interesting, I'm talking of the period of 2015.
Right.
So, these all shows like the personality that evolved over a period, and she was quintessentially, she represented what she called the Bharatiya Nari, and a Nari who was conservative in some ways, but very modern in a lot of other things.
We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Shekhar Iyer, for throwing light on the minister with a human touch. Sushma Swaraj, who is no longer with us today, and we have bid her farewell. Our next story comes from Jammu and Kashmir. Well, 2 days after the revocation of special status to Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370 of the Constitution and the passage of a bill for splitting the state into 2 union territories, life in both Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh is proceeding normally, even as Section 144 continues to be in place in a few areas. The National Security Advisor Ajit Doval visited Shopian today to meet with security personnel and locals. The National Security Advisor even shared some food with them. And we are now joined by our correspondents who are joining us from across Jammu and Kashmir. Arun is joining us from Leh. In fact, we are joined by Rama first. Rama is joining us first from Srinagar. Rama is joining us from Srinagar, and Ashwini is also, I can see, he is joining us from Jammu. We'll first find out what the situation is like in Srinagar, because people believe that that's an area, that's a place where people would be more concerned about 370's decision. Tell us, Rama, what's the situation on the ground?
Mark, if we talk about the situation, if we see that despite restrictions, everything is going smoothly. People are following the instruction of the government, and their day-to-day demands are getting met. And government is also putting forth all its effort to facilitate them at every level. There are some mandatory instructions also. So it means that people are, although they have entered into a new phase, it is union territory now, and they are some apprehensions also, but if they are trusting government, if they are following all the instructions and no untoward incident has been reported as for now, so it means that they are trusting government, they are hopeful. And today NSA visited Shopia, that is the most sensible place of Kashmir, and the way he talked to people, the people were telling him their apprehensions and seeking some resolve of them, and they were sharing food, and many things are around. So it is very important in trust building, and that is the main task of government this time, and
Right.
people are waiting for the next step. And in other way, it is very important to boost the morale of our security forces. They are facing many challenges here, and but with smiling faces they are serving to the nation and common men. So very important, and to
Right.
take the stock of situation also, because security is also a big concern, because in this change era there are
Yes,
some
Rama.
miscreants. They can make the situation volatile. So to nab them, this is very important visit.
So a positive message coming out from Srinagar. Let's go across to Jammu then and speak to our correspondent Ashwini Mishra, who's there. Well, Ashwini, you know, Jammu was, we saw shots of visuals yesterday of celebrations. The celebrations must be continuing.
निश्चित तौर से मार्ग पूरे जम्मू कश्मीर और लद्दाख संभाग के लिए बेहद ऐतिहासिक और खुशी का क्षण है। जम्मू के लिए तो खास तौर से, क्योंकि जम्मू का लंबे समय से अपेक्षा थी कि जो क्षेत्रीय विकास है वो जम्मू में कहीं ना कहीं पीछे रह जाता है, घाटी में राजनीतिक नेतृत्व और अन्य चीजों को देखते हुए। मैं अभी जम्मू के जगती कैंप पे हूँ। ये जगती कैंप कश्मीरी पंडित जो विस्थापित हुए थे 90 के दशक में, 30 सालों का वनवास उनका खत्म हुआ है। हम खुद उनसे उनकी प्रतिक्रिया जानना चाहेंगे। आप बताएं, ये जो ऐतिहासिक निर्णय लिया गया है उससे कितना आप लोग आह्लादित और भविष्य को लेकर कितना आशान्वित?
सर, हम तो मोदी गवर्नमेंट के इतने शुक्रगुजार हैं कि असल में हमें आज़ादी 72 इयर्स के बाद मिली है। तो जो ये 35A था और 371 जो आर्टिकल था हमारे लिए, तो इसको ख़त्म करके उन्होंने रीरोट हिस्ट्री क्रिएट की है ये पूरे हिंदुस्तान में। तो जो श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी का जो ड्रीम था, एक विधान, एक प्रधान और एक निशान, वन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, वन हेड एंड वन सिंबल, वो उन्होंने अपना सपना, वो मोदी गवर्नमेंट ने वो सपना पूरा किया है। अब हम बहुत अच्छी तरह से, जैसे कि हमें जैसे पहले खौफ था कश्मीर जाने के लिए, अब हम कश्मीरी पंडितों का कोई खौफ नहीं है वहाँ पर जाने के लिए। और वहाँ पर क्या होता था कि जो PDP सरकार थी, NC सरकार थी, उन्होंने पूरे कश्मीर को अपनी जागीर बनाया था। उन्होंने क्या किया था कि वो चाहते थे कि ये कम से कम 7 दशक से हमारा जो इंडिया था, वो कहते थे कि कश्मीर हमारी जागीर है और जो हम करेंगे वही हो सकेगा।
छोटी सी प्रतिक्रिया हम आपसे जानना चाहेंगे कि तेजी से वहां पर पुनर्वास होने की स्थिति फिर से बनेगी, आप अपने पुरखों की धरती पर पहुंचेंगे?
हाँ सर, वापस तो हम जाना चाहते हैं पहले से ही। तो ये कश्मीर तो हमारा ही था, तो अब उन्होंने ऐसे जुल्म किया हमारे ऊपर, जो उन्होंने हमारे बुजुर्गों को उधर से निकाला। तो अब जो मोदी सरकार ने, हम उनको बहुत मतलब धन्यवाद करते हैं कि उन्होंने हमको फिर से वापस उधर पे बिठाने का निर्णय लिया है।
जी, देख सकते हैं मार्ग, लोग खुश हैं, युवा आह्लादित है कि अपने पुरखों की धरती से जुड़ेंगे और साथ साथ बहुत सारे निवेश के अवसर, रोजगार के अवसर और यहाँ की गरीबी गुर्बत समाप्त होगी और देश की मुख्य धारा में शामिल होगा और जम्मू कश्मीर और लद्दाख का संपूर्ण विकास होगा। निश्चित तौर से केंद्र शासित प्रदेश के साथ साथ जब विधानसभा भी होगी तो जमहूरियत भी होगी, कश्मीरियत भी होगी, इंसानियत भी होगी और सबसे बड़ा परचम जो लहराएगा वो हिंदुस्तानियत का मार्ग।
Right, thanks very much Ashwini, and I'd also like to thank Rama for joining us from Srinagar, and I'm told we also have with us Arun, who is joining us from Leh. So let's go across to Arun right now. Arun? Yes, Arun, obviously Leh has been making this demand for a very long time, and as we were talking to Ashwini, the celebrations must be continuing into the second day, the third day in fact, in Leh. What's it like?
Well, that's right. This was a long pending demand of the Ladakhis primarily, and behind me the celebrations were taking place. But yes, as it's the 10 p.m. now, the gradually celebrations are over. But yes, Ladakh primarily, if you look at this fact, is in the celebration mode because it was a long pending demand. And the way the MP of Ladakh, Mr. Zamyang, he has put his way, the people's aspiration in the Lok Sabha, he made aware about to the people that what Ladakhis were thinking and how their demand primarily means for the people of Ladakh. That was the main point. People are more happy about that fact. But now understand this way, Mark, that from 2004 till 2019, 2,80,000 crore rupees were given by centre to Jammu and Kashmir, but hardly any development could take place primarily in the Ladakh region. But now, as I am standing in the young UT, the youngest primarily UT over here, which is Ladakh, now whatever the centre, that means Finance Ministry will send to Ladakh, the money will directly come to Ladakh, and that will be a game changer for people of Ladakh. I have also with me Mr. Ramesh Chandra, who is here a special correspondent in Ladakh. Let's try to understand from him that what exactly, Ramesh, this means for the people of Ladakh. How will it be a game changer as far as the infrastructure is concerned, aspirations of people are concerned?
Yeah, Arun, it's unexpected had happened. Over 30 years, people are looking for UT status. Now it happened all of a sudden with the help of Narendra Modi's government here. And people are very thankful to you, to the Prime Minister here, and now they are celebrating. And now they are planning how the future has to be. Now the two things, one is employment and education, and further part in development of Indian country. So this is how now people of Ladakh and the political parties, all religious groups are thinking that this has to go further. Now we have to be integral part of development of India. They are part of India in security and unpaid soldiers. They are here, but now they are wanted to be a part of development of India.
And that's the new India which we are talking about. So if in case India is becoming a $5 trillion economy, tourism will play an important role. And what we're learning now, that when a Buddhist circuit primarily will be given a major push, Ladakh will be a major region. The tourist, as far as the Buddhist circuit, will come here. More flights can be expected because we know this for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he inaugurated the terminal, the launch of the terminal was done over here. So this inauguration was done. So that will be playing an important role in attracting more tourists. So yes, Ladakh is now all set. The young Ladakh primarily, let me say this way, is all set to be part of the new India story that India is talking about. Mark?
Right. Thanks very much, Arun. The enthusiasm is high in Ladakh as well as in Jammu, and the situation is also quite positive from Srinagar. Let's move on to our next story then. Heavy rainfall continues to wreak havoc across India, especially Maharashtra, Odisha, Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka, and the situation in districts of western Maharashtra is pretty grim. Adequate arrangements for food, drinking water and other essential items for those affected have also been made.
The continuing heavy flooding in Kolhapur district in Maharashtra has affected nearly 51,000 people from around 2,000 villages. It has submerged over 340 bridges in the state. Around 29 state highways and 56 main roads have also been shut down. Teams of National Disaster Response Force and State Disaster Response Force have been deployed in flood-affected regions. Navy, Army, Air Force and Coast Guard teams are also engaged in relief and rescue efforts. Meanwhile, Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis chaired a meeting in Mumbai to review flood situation in various parts of the state. Officials from the flood-affected regions of Kolhapur, Sangli, Pune, Satara, Palghar, Raigad and Ratnagiri were directed to ensure all possible assistance to the flood-affected people. In neighbouring state of Karnataka, parts of north and coastal areas along with Malnad region are still reeling under heavy downpour. Apart from this, several parts of Odisha, including Malkangiri, Raigad, Koraput, Kandhamal and Gajpati districts are also badly affected. The incessant rainfall has also disrupted train services in the state. The agencies, meanwhile, are continuing with the relief and rescue efforts. With bureau inputs, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Home, auto and other loans are set to become cheaper after the Reserve Bank of India cut interest rates by an unconventional 35 basis points, which is the fourth successive reduction in a 9-year low, in an attempt, in fact, to boost the economy. So the RBI has maintained its accommodative stance. That meant an increase is off the table.
The Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee on Wednesday lowered its repo rate by 35 basis points to 5.4%. This is the fourth reduction in a row of its key policy rate. On the basis of an assessment of the current and evolving macroeconomic situation, the MPC at its meeting decided to reduce the policy repo rate under the Liquidity Adjustment Facility by 35 basis points from 5.75% to 5.4% with immediate effect. The Reserve Bank on Wednesday kept the retail inflation within its target level for over 12 months and has projected it to stay within a band of 3.5 to 3.7% during the second half of this fiscal. The target for second half of 2019-20 has been set at 3.5 to 3.7% with risks evenly balanced.
The MPC has revised downwards the projection of real GDP growth to 6.9% for 1920, and this consists of 5.8 to 6.6% for H1 1920 and 7.3 to 7.5% for H2, with risks somewhat tilted to the downside.
The CPI-based inflation for the first half of the next fiscal beginning April 2020 has been projected at 3.6%. The CPI inflation excluding food and fuel fell by 50 basis points to 4.1% in May from 4.6% in April and remained unchanged in June. The MPC also noted that inflation is currently projected to remain within the target over a 12-month ahead horizon. Since the last policy, domestic economic activity continues to be weak, with the global slowdown and escalating trade tensions posing downside risks. With inputs from Shama Mishra in Mumbai, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And before we conclude, let's take a look at news that's coming in from across the country. Here's our regional roundup.